I served my wife divorce papers after she called me useless in front of my entire family. My wife refuses to work or help around the house. Anytime I bring it up, she tells me to man up and deal with it. I know I probably should leave her, but I haven't wanted to. I remember years ago when she begged me to take on a second full-time job to help put her through college, and I did. But once she completed her degree, she suddenly decided she didn't want to work at all. She said she'd rather stay home with our child. About a year later, our second child was born. I knew right away we needed more income, so I asked her again to consider working. She refused. So I went back to school and pursued a master's degree while still working 2 jobs. It was exhausting, but I pulled through. Now fast forward 3 years, I'm the only one supporting a household of 4 on a single income. I work 50-hour weeks, and when I get home, I do the laundry, the cooking, and all the driving for the kids. At least 75% of the household responsibilities fall on me. The worst part is that my wife won't help no matter how many times I ask. She keeps insisting she works just as hard and says if I'm so tired, I should stop working so much. The irony is that I took her advice recently. I took 2 weeks off work without telling her in advance. She freaked out, not because she was concerned about me, but because she didn't know how she'd afford her next spa day. On top of that, she constantly has to one-up me. If I tell her I had a hard day, she says she had it worse. If I mention my feet hurt from walking 30,000 steps on a work trip, she says that's nothing compared to cooking while holding a child all day. For the past 2 years, she's told me I've ruined her life, her chances, her opportunities. She blames me for everything and acts like she never asked to be a stay-at-home parent in the first place. It's gotten to the point where she makes me feel worthless, like I'm the one who held her back, when in reality, she asked for this. I should mention that her mom lives with us, and she's honestly a lovely woman. She does what she can to help around the house, even with her age. Recently, she pulled me aside and said she's noticed a big change in both of us. She said I seem more attached to the kids and even more affectionate toward the dogs than toward my wife. She wasn't wrong. I'm in survival mode, caught between trying to advance my career and just holding on emotionally. I'm 1 step from moving forward in life and 1 step from falling into the bottom of a whiskey bottle. Eventually, I confronted my wife. I didn't back down this time, and when she tried to guilt-trip me, I held firm. Instead of addressing anything I said, she left. She packed a bag and went to stay with her sister. The next day, she came back and tried to take the kids with her. I refused. Her family, including her sister, backed me. It wouldn't have been fair to drag the kids into a crowded house that's not theirs, especially since she doesn't work, and her sister already lives there with her husband, 3 kids, and their dad. After about a week away, she came back like nothing happened. Walked through the door with her bags as if she'd been to the store. I was working from home at the time, in a meeting I couldn't leave, and she just stood there glaring at me. When I finally ended the call, she exploded, accusing me of not caring about her well-being. I couldn't even respond. I just shook my head. Her mom came in and pulled her away, telling her not to bother me. Our nanny kept our youngest out of the chaos. That night, after the kids were asleep, I sat in my office with a drink, like I'd done the past few nights. She came in. We talked. We argued. We cried. We drank. One thing led to another, and we ended up in bed. I wish I could say it was reconciliation, but the next morning said otherwise. As we lay there, she started complaining about how hard it was staying at her family's house. She went on and on about how lucky I am to live in a comfortable home, to be able to buy what I need to have space. She compared our lives as if we didn't come from the same kind of upbringing. My heart just sank. I felt completely disconnected. I tried again later that week to talk things out, to tell her about my stress and anxiety, and what I got was shouting. When I said, "So my happiness, my stress, none of it matters," she replied, "We all have problems. You need to get over them. I don't know who I'm living with anymore. This isn't the woman I married." Since then, I've distanced myself. I've been sleeping in my office or on the couch or in bed with one of the kids after putting them down. Meanwhile, she still wakes up around 10 a.m., spends most of the day on her phone in mom groups while the nanny and her mom care for the kids. Nothing has changed. And honestly, I doubt it ever will. Even if we got divorced, I don't think anything would feel different. When she left the house, ran the same, just with a little more takeout. My biggest fear isn't losing her. It's losing the kids. After a strong push from both sides of the family, we agreed to try marriage counseling. I don't think it'll surprise anyone that it didn't go well. It was the same pattern as always: tears, blame, denial, guilt tripping. And I ended up sitting there listening to how I've ruined her life again. The only difference was that now she was saying it in front of a licensed therapist instead of on some Facebook group chat. At one point, the therapist asked her when she last felt truly happy. She thought about it and said, maybe 12 years ago. 12 years ago, she was still in her 20s, living child-free with her ex. A completely different phase of life. It might be petty of me, but I couldn't help thinking that maybe she should just go find that happiness again, especially since her ex is still in the same apartment with the same job, doing the same things he was back then. For me, I'm in my 40s with kids. Clubbing and late nights aren't my thing anymore. In case you're wondering, no, she hasn't physically cheated on me, at least as far as I can confirm. I checked her phone records after therapy, and there was nothing suspicious. I didn't check apps like Instagram or Snapchat, though. Maybe that makes me naive. Maybe I just didn't want to go there. Father's Day came around not long after. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't anything special. Our family gathered for a barbecue, just trying to enjoy some time together. My wife, true to form, slept in and stayed on her phone most of the morning. She said she wasn't feeling well and barely participated. Later in the day, while we were all sitting around eating, I had a conversation with my brother-in-law about our kids' school activities. I mentioned the breakfast with dad event I attended and how sad it was seeing some kids there alone. My wife must have overheard because she suddenly blurted out loud enough for everyone to hear, "It's not like you do anything anyway." I could have gone instead. The room went silent. My mother-in-law finally broke the tension by saying, "Well, maybe if you feel that way, one of you should divorce the other." My wife just laughed, looked right at me and said, "As if any other woman would want a man like him. Just look at you." I was stunned, angry, humiliated, and deeply hurt. I didn't say a word. I just stood up, grabbed my keys, and left, while the kids and the rest of the family asked me not to go. I drove to clear my head, tried to calm down, and ignored the flood of texts and missed calls. When I came back early Monday morning, the whole house felt different. As usual, I was up by 6:00 a.m. I got the house ready, helped our oldest get ready for school, checked my emails. Everything seemed normal, except that now I was done. My wife was still asleep in bed, snoring quietly, and all I could think about was how far we'd fallen. That morning, I texted my lawyer and said I was ready to move forward with filing for divorce. Last week, she was served at home. Her reaction, total meltdown. She stormed into my office screaming, asking how I could do this to her. Her mom stepped in trying to de-escalate, and my wife turned on her too, saying I'd turned her whole family against her. Maybe I would have felt bad if she hadn't immediately switched into acting like the perfect wife and mother the rest of the week. Sure, you could say she was trying, but she's tried many times before. It never lasts. Things always snap back to the same dysfunction. That's why this time is different. I'm going for full or at least primary custody of our kids. I already pay for everything and will continue to. Their insurance, tuition, medical expenses, it's all on me. Both kids are set to attend private schools this fall. My mother-in-law has honestly been a pillar of strength through this. Her support alongside my own mom's gave me the courage I needed to finally make this decision. Out of respect for her and my mom's wishes, I'll continue to financially help her if needed, especially with her current health situation. I know how hard it is for a family dealing with cancer. I've been there. I don't want a messy fight. I just want a clean, straightforward divorce. She won't get alimony. First, because we live in a state that rarely grants it. Second, because she is capable of working. Third, because I offered to continue paying her health insurance and basic expenses until either the divorce is finalized or she's fully employed. So that's where I'm at. I'm done. I'm moving forward. Whether it gets messy or not, I'm prepared. But I'm hoping for peace. No wild drama, no revenge fantasies, just a clean break and a better life for me and my kids. Sorry if it's not the kind of story with a shocking twist or big finish. But this is real life, and it's messy enough as it is. I don't know if I'll post again once everything's finalized. Could be a few months depending on how things go. Thank you for listening to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, leave a comment below to share your thoughts on what happened. Take care.